There are three big obstacles to rolling out a new strategy. One is simply fear of the unknown. When a group is looking at doing something they've never done before or going in a direction they have never had experience with, it's scary and it requires courage to look at what it's going to take. There's also ambiguity, which a lot of people are very uncomfortable with. And so getting more comfortable with ambiguity is part of the equation. Along with fear of the unknown is fear of exposure. Not being totally sure we're going to be successful can be a part of the challenge in this first obstacle. The second obstacle is that sometimes a new strategy is different from the current culture. For example, if the current culture demands that functions of the business think separately, but our new strategy is going to require some cross-functional work together, that's not the way we've normally done business. So thinking out what that is going to mean and how we're going to do that differently is challenging. Thirdly, there is time required to do anything new and different. Patience is required and taking the longer term view. We're quite used to going for the short wins, the low-hanging fruit, the quick and sometimes the easy. New strategies, new goals are rarely quick and easy. So patience, fortitude, perseverance, and being willing to commit over the long term can be very challenging. Best-in-class companies think about four pieces in terms of implementing a new strategy and a very challenging strategy. Number one, they really get centered around the process. Understanding there is a process, there'll be several moving parts, and committing to seeing that process all the way through. The first step in the process is thinking about stakeholders and identifying all the stakeholders and what are the levels of engagement that will be required from these stakeholders to really do a quality job. The second component of best practice pertains to excellent clarity about decision making. Who gets to decide what? Nothing will upset a team faster than a feeling of unfairness or lack of equity around who gets to decide. So being very clear about the levels of decision making and when the leader is going to decide versus when the team is going to come to consensus is critically important. The third aspect of best practices is resource allocation and, frankly, putting your money where your mouth is. If you're going to take on a significant new strategy, your resource allocation really should look a little different. And so thinking about what are the resources that the new strategy will require and how to stage those resources and secure enough resources to make a difference is extremely important. The fourth consideration is in the context of the pitfalls to strategy execution. Only about 20% of organizations are successful in implementing a new strategy, so considering support is important. That support could be internal from other areas or departments that have had success with significant goals and strategies, or it could be outside support. Either way, the pitfalls are significant enough to warrant some good thinking about support.